All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of UFC on We Made It podcast. We made it. Well, not UFC, I guess MMA. Today I have another guest. Hopefully more often. We'll see. You know what's going on here. He might sign an extension or something with Showtime and dip after this. But it's my boy Chris.
Yeah. With that. Glad to be here. I'm glad to be here. Talk some fight game.
Yes, sir. So we're gonna talk about the fights going on tomorrow. Luckily, we did this episode after the weigh-ins happened. Everybody made weight, which is good. So the fights are going to happen. Barring someone trips on a cable like Tony Ferguson did and tears his LCL. I don't know. We're good to go. But yeah, so tomorrow, UFC Fight Night, Woodley versus Burns.
And that's it. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. The other fighters,
it's definitely not a super popping card. The good thing that it's free, thank the Lord. It's gonna be done actually the first now UFC fight, it's gonna be in Vegas. They got approval to do it at the UFC Apex Center, which is like their little YMCA inside their UFC center, so they're gonna be recording it on hand. This card now originally card has been thrown all over the place. This was supposed to be Tyron Woodley was actually supposed to fight Leon Edwards, another highly ranked welterweight. Was going to be a good battle, but Leon Edwards wasn't able to leave England at the time. Of course, we know what's going on in the world. So instead, he's fighting Gilbert Burns, who's a Brazilian fighter who fights out of Henry Hooft in Florida. So it was easy for them to set that up. What do you think about that? Actually, no. Let's not jump into that. Let's start off with just noting the card. What do we think about this card?
Dog, I looked at that card. It was a real snoozer. I only recognized Roosevelt. What's his name? I don't even remember his last name. Roosevelt. I've seen him fight before, but it's not like I follow him. But yeah, he's really the only name I recognize really on the card. Even though I know there's some ranked cats fighting in the
look,
I guess co-main
prelims.
event.
The prelims are definitely rough in the streets. This is definitely this is definitely like they shouldn't even broadcast this. But
I wanted to ask. So are there gonna be fans? It's still no fans, right?
No fans. Right. Still. Only 100% broadcast.
How do you feel about that? I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
How do you feel about the no fans thing? Did you saw? I'm assuming you saw Ferguson Gaethje in that whole.
I guess I don't like it because I don't really want to hear like the leather like hitting their bodies and like the coach screaming is super annoying. Like they have the mics on the mat, so you hear the coaches yelling.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's really annoying. Like it's like it doesn't. I don't really enjoy it. Like if I was mic'd to hear the sounds of like grappling like that, that's fine. But like when I'm hearing the coach go, go, I'm like I can't. I like it's annoying. Like it gives.
I gotta disagree.
Because it kind of reminds me of like like going to the gym. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to chill and like enjoy this. Now I'm getting amped up, like feeling like hearing these instructions. Like I know how that feels.
I gotta disagree with you.
No,
I love it.
Go ahead.
I love the no fans and being able to hear the instructions. What I like to seeing is how much the fighters are actually listening to the coaches while they're in the cage, and which fighters are even capable of doing. Most fighters are not capable of listening to their coach while they're in the cage. You feel me? Like you have to be a top-notch fighter to be able to assess what's going on in the fight. Hear your coach, hear your coach, and then change what you're doing all at the same time in split seconds.
Yeah. Like I guess I only enjoy the crowd aspect when it's a good crowd. Not like honestly America, like when it's Canada, like a Canada crowd is really good. They're super loud and they're like smart. So there's not like a bunch of like woo, like there's not like Ric Flair. Like when they're like reacting to like action and like moves, that's like fun because I'm like, hey, like I don't know, I like for example, like I know it was in LA, but when John Jones did the shin kick on like DC, like the whole place erupted. Like that feeling I kind of miss that feeling because that's what kind of gives you like the goosebumps. Not a probably athlete too, like you want those moments. But it's a new element, and I don't hate it, but I like the crowd more. But the MMA crowd is like the worst crowd in history, so that's also like the worst part. But it's funny, like you mentioned that, like for example, like in the last fight, Anthony Smith, he was listening to his coach, and I'm assuming this is probably the most he's ever been able to hear his coach in his life, because that was the fight that he gassed out early. He did every single thing his coach said, and his coach was screaming an instruction every 10 seconds. And he had the most output, most kicks, most punches ever thrown. So it's like he was listening too much. Like it's too audible. Like you can hear everything. So usually when it's like loud and stuff, you can barely make out your coach. And sometimes they only listen when they look at their coach. Sometimes you see them look up, and I'm like, that's the time they're listening. Every other time they're like, fuck that shit, like. So I agree. Like it's definitely new, and it's almost like watching like live intense sparring, like sparring with like things on the line, like, so it's kind of like that's a cool feel. And what I'll note, the only person on this entire rough prelim that I'm not even gonna mention Luis Smolka, because that's like whatever, he's just Hawaiian, so he gets a pass for me. But Caitlin Chikugian is fighting Antonina Shevchenko, and what's funny about that to me is that the last time Chikugian fought, she fought Valentina Shevchenko, which is her sister, and her sister beat her ass. It was really bad. It was like she got her shit reamed and destroyed by Valentina, who's known as one of the most scary female fighters in the world right now. And now you're going to fight her sister. So if you get beat up by her and her sister, that's kind of rough. I feel like that's a lot. That's a lot of whoopings to take from a whole family. Like
you got to bring somebody. At that point, you got to call up somebody. You gotta call someone up.
Pull up to their gym or whatever. Like, yo, y'all, all you got a cousin or something's gonna come whoop my ass too. Like, goddamn. Yeah. So
I'm not that familiar with the sister, or
she's
I
new.
don't know, maybe.
She's pretty new.
Okay. I'm not. But I know that. The other one pieces people up. Like she's so fluid.
Yeah.
Almost.
Like extremely good. Extremely good.
Yeah.
She definitely. The 2 times she fought Amanda Nunes, that was the most Amanda Nunes ever been pushed in her UFC career, and there's a reason for that, because Valentina's filthy. Like, she was throwing around Joanna Jędrzejczyk like she was a rag doll, and that's a champion, like a decorated champion. Antonina, like, it's the 2 things that are weird is that like she's built different. Like Valentina's like more fast and powerful, and like can grapple and strikes like a monster. But Antonina's like a little more thin, like more like point style, and they're in the same division, which is really strange that 2 siblings are in the same division fighting. I just think it's kind of weird, like
Warriors the same size.
I know, but I'm saying like they're both flyweights, so it's like what happens? Like, are you just gonna have like are you just gonna be are you gonna be a gatekeeper for your sister? Are you gonna fight your sister? Like, this is weird. I don't know. It's just kind of a weird situation.
They'll fight if it ever came down to that. Yeah, they'll have to catch the fight. I feel like
we're from Europe. We'll get it. We'll throw it down. Damn it.
They'll for sure fight if it's for a title or something, or
they might get
just for big money. I think. I mean, I don't know them too much in terms of like outside of
the
octagon.
Holy crap! Her sister's 35. What? God damn, she's old. What the hell?
That's not old for a fighter, though. I've been trying to tell people that's not that old for a fighter.
It is different, and it also depends how much you've done in your life too.
Yeah. A lot of people don't. A lot of cats don't even.
Dude, she looks so young. I wouldn't believe it. I thought she was younger. She's 35. Well, they must have been throwing down to Kyrgyzstan, so maybe they'll throw it down. Well, how old is Valentina? Valentina's 32. She's younger than her.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm appalled right now. I just learned something live on air. That's cool. So that's the only prelim fight that's, I guess, something worth noting. Now, let me tell this to the viewers. Apart Chris mentioning Roosevelt Roberts, this is definitely a card I'm going to be texting through. Like, I'm not going to be taking – like, this is – like, Justin Gaethje, Tony Ferguson was a gift and a curse, because it's one of the most stacked cards of all time.
Yeah.
But why they did that, it was weird, because it's like airlines are closed. It's hard to get national fighters. You could have spread these dudes out among these fight cards, and you put them all in one. And now we're just getting like scraps. So it's kind of rough. Like, the co-main is Blagoy Ivanov versus Adino Sakai.
Yeah.
Which is a dope name, because that's my middle name plus Sakai. It's kind of hard, but like, that's this is just weird. It's a weird card.
They're pretty ranked. They're ranked though. I think like 13
No,
and
they're ranked.
12 or something.
I
I
think
don't know him. It's not like I know him, but
the last time Blagoy fought, I feel like he fought Derek Lewis or something like that. I think that's who he fought, and he got his ass beat. But
yeah.
but is there any notable fights you want to mention for this card? You said Roosevelt Roberts versus Brock Weaver.
Yeah, but just because I've seen Roosevelt Roberts fight before, that's really the only one. But I'm also interested in Kern. I forget the other lady she's fighting, but just because the stylistic differences. I was looking at the the fight points, which really don't mean anything at all. But it's a clear stylistic difference, and that's what I'm usually intrigued in, is just what type of styles play out and how they play out in the octagon most of the time.
And I guess I was wrong. Brock Weaver missed weight for this fight, but they're gonna fight anyways. He was
that boy looks thick in the pictures. I was like, you sure this dude is one?
And also, I guess the thing to note about Brock Weaver, it's kind of cool. He's from a Native American tribe out of Alabama, which is really dope. So I fought him. I saw him fight last time. I didn't really like his style. It seemed kind of like very raw. But everybody can build from that, and I'm definitely gonna watch this fight. He's kind of intriguing. He doesn't have a Wikipedia either, which is insane. But so that's a card to note. I want to see Mackenzie Dern. Apart from personal reasons, Mackenzie Dern is actually coming back after having her child, and she's 7-1, so she had 3 wins in a row in the UFC. She was having weight trouble issues in the past, getting down to 115 for strawweight, and then she had a child, and then she made the weight easily. So good to see that. She's gonna fight Hannah Cifers. Mackenzie Dern is a super decorated jiu-jitsu, one sensational record. Only thing ever questioned about her is she has one of the best YouTube compilations ever of people making a compilation on her faking a Portuguese accent her whole life. So if you ever check that out on YouTube, it's pretty legit. It's because she's born in Phoenix, Arizona, but her family's Brazilian. Her dad is a legendary Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and she says she spent a lot of time in Brazil. It's kind of hard.
She's faking the funk, dog. What do you think? Is she faking the funk? Is she faking the funk, dog, or what? I mean, it's cool either way.
She's over here, I don't know. I might have spent more time in Brazil than Mackenzie Dern, and she's over here talking like, good morning, and this is a good opportunity. I'm like, I don't know, yo. So the YouTube compilation's hilarious, though. Please watch that sometime. It's definitely funny.
I for sure thought she was from Lakewood. I'm not gonna lie to you.
She definitely probably lives in Lakewood right now. So shout out to Mackenzie. She's a really good fighter, though. I think that's a good fight between her and Hannah Cifers. Everything else other than the main event fight, Tyron Woodley versus Gilbert Burns. What do you think about that fight right now?
I'm actually excited for this fight because I want to see, I guess, more so mentally how Tyron is going to bounce back. Because after Usman was his last fight, right? I don't think he's fought after that. Yeah, and he's coming off an injury, but you can tell that even a little bit before that fight, I never like to just question it, but you just wonder, is he kind of, is he over it? You feel me? Not over the hill. He's still talented. Even in the Usman fight, it wasn't his best performance, but it still went 5 rounds. It's still he lasted a whole fight. He went the distance with a scary competitor. Heavy hitter. Yeah. So I never questioned his talent and capabilities in the octagon because he's one of my favorite fighters of all time, probably one of the most explosive fighters and underrated, intelligent fighters to ever step in the octagon. But sometimes you can question the motivation, especially from a fighter who's been at the top for so long, and it almost was a routine title defense. It used to be he would have a title defense, and I'd be like, oh, he's gonna for sure defend the title.
Same here, honestly.
And then after a pretty unimpressive performance, loss, and an injury, how you bounce back from that, especially against someone who's hungry right now. This kid, Gilbert, I seen him finish. I think it was Oliveira. I seen that fight, and I seen him finish Maya.
Yeah, Maya. That's not an easy guy to finish. like for real.
But the way he caught him, you could
Yeah.
finish him standing up, and he definitely has some power on him.
Yeah.
But what I'm impressed about with Gilbert is this dude can transition from a submission to a submission to a submission on the ground.
Filthy. He's filthy on the ground.
It's
Filthy.
it's one thing to me that is so underrated within like grappling is how well you can just okay, this is going all right, I'm gonna return and do this move. Oh, you defended this move, I'm gonna get to this position and get this like he's like a freaking I don't even like a Rubik's cube on the ground. Like he just is rotating and getting any submission he wants based off of what the opponent does. And that is something that can be scary. But then again, you got Woodley, who's one of the best takedown defense, ground defense. His wrestling is high elite level.
All American.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting. I definitely would say I'm biased in the aspect that I want Woodley to win because he's just one of my favorite fighters. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if this Gilbert kid finds a way to either submit or just win the battle on the ground.
I agree. I mean, I think that Tyron Woodley, like I'm biased in a sense too because Tyron Woodley, I've grown a lot of appreciation for. I feel like he's one of the most unappreciated fighters in like this era recently. Think about it. He's coming in one of the most perennial divisions of all time. This is the George St. Pierre division, the welterweights. Like during that era or during the time, the later stage of GSP's career, Tyron Woodley, was fighting in Strikeforce, a whole different area, and he was doing his thing there too. So it's like he finally comes into the UFC. And then he gets that Robbie Lawler knockout, Robbie Lawler is known as like the most scary boogeyman of all time, and he knocks him out. And from then on, we're here. It's the Tyron Woodley welterweight era, and from the elbow of hell to Darren Till, and knocking out Darren Till, who everybody was so high on as his next wannabe Connor, and from England.
He's a
filthy.
killer.
Darren Till's really good. And he dismantled him. And like you said, one of the best things with Tyron Woodley. He was the first, like, to me, like, a real example, other than, like, I guess someone like GSP, like a true, like, professional athlete. Like John Jones, they review tape. Woodley is the person that whatever weakness you have, he exposes it. Like, he exposes your weakness. If you're Damian Maia, you want to get the game to the ground. Well, now you got to take me down. Tyron Woodley tore his shoulder in the fight and was like, you need to take me down to win this fight. And he never was able to take him down. 0 takedowns because he defended everything sensationally. Darren Till, he's like, I'm gonna go in there and just knock the hell out of you. Yeah. Knock the hell out of him. Got his black belt that day. It was just a beautiful thing to see. His loss against Usman, it was tough to watch that fight. I tried watching it again the other day on UFC, and you can tell like he just looks dejected. He looked tired. He looked like tired in the sense that not like he'd been working hard. He's tired in like your body has like mental fatigue already coming in.
Yeah.
Like, he was doing all the music thing, which his songs are so bad.
Him and Wiz have a song? Him and Wiz have a
song? He had a song, Wiz Khalifa. Oh man, it's rough. Yeah. And then of course he was doing he does the TMZ thing, so he fights the TMZ and does his Hollywood beatdown. He's just doing a lot. And I thought he had the best approach to it. He decided to drop everything, do everything remotely, and go to Thailand and train in Thailand over at the ATT Thailand Center. Came back. He wants to bounce back. Everybody's saying, he's 38, but just know this. He won his title at an advanced age, kept his title at an advanced age. Everybody's body's built differently, genetically built differently, and he's had different wear and tear. He wasn't fighting his whole life. He did wrestling before this, so his body's different, and I'm excited to see what happens. I hope he has that fire in him that we saw in like Darren Till fight and other fights, and because even the Stephen Thompson wars, which I thought he won both, and he got played in the first one, that was a draw. I want to see that fire. Like that's someone that came to play, and Gilbert Burns is someone who advances, wants to bring the action, is
Oh,
not.
he's hungry too.
Yeah, he wants to swing because
Yeah.
he dares you to bring it to the ground. He wants you to be like,
Mhm.
oh, like I'm gonna take this guy down. Please take me down. That's what he wants.
Mhm.
Gilbert Burns is a perennial jiu-jitsu artist, and,
Yeah.
and Tyron Woodley is a counter striker. You come at him, he does that great step back hook. Like he does that.
Yeah.
That's his trademark power shot, and he does the run up punch that he does. Like
Yeah.
Masvidal credits him for. It's a good fight to watch. It can be exciting. Because even if it's Tyron Woodley, like they said, Tyron Woodley has 0 takedowns in the UFC since going to the UFC because he doesn't need that game. His striking is so good. So if someone like Gilbert brings out of him, it'd be exciting to see. No matter where it goes, it's gonna be a good fight. I really can't wait for that fight. Thank God it's on ESPN. We have to pay $65 for it because
Oh no, yeah. That's never. I got a question for you though, because this is what intrigues me. How does Gilbert win the fight for you? And then how does Woodley win the fight? Like what is the game plan? Because I feel like both of them can win. I definitely think I'm leaning towards Woodley just because he has that championship experience.
Yeah. And
whereas Gilbert might be lacking a little bit in that realm, especially in the UFC.
yeah, I think that Gilbert, he needs to end it early. It needs to be early, it needs to be shock, it needs to be some kind of knockout, or somehow you got to Woodley where he panics and tries to do a takedown, and you either get some kind of jiu-jitsu guillotine choke or something on him because, I mean, I'd be shocked by that. But that's probably what it is because Gilbert Burns is his first main event. He's never gone 5 rounds. Literally, Tyron Woodley's been fighting 5 rounds for what, 5 years
Man,
now?
yeah, I haven't seen him. I can't remember the last time he hasn't been fighting for a championship.
He gets excited when he has to be there 5 rounds. All he does is 5-round wars.
Yeah.
So he knows the spotlight. He knows the anything. He knows this avenue. This is a new area for Gilbert. So if I was Gilbert, I would channel that new energy into that new feelings into like an energy and like being like, look, I'm gonna come out like balls to the wall and I'm gonna die on my shield. Like I just gotta go because I wouldn't try to make this. I need to outlast Woodley game because that just seems like that's such a lower percentage for me. Like if I'm Gilbert, like if I'm Gilbert, I'm like, look, I'm gonna press the hell out of him. I'm gonna bait his counter and find a way of uppercutting him or just doing something and just creating issues for him. Maybe some tie clinches, anything, just to like wear down Woodley, make Woodley tired in the beginning and have a little bit more energy. Just try to spark him. That's what I would do if I was Burns. What about you? What would you do?
Man, I'm a little bit conflicted. I think first I want to say this. I think the major advantage that Gilbert has coming into this fight is the fact that it's no stands and it's not that high pressure environment because we know that Woodley's used to that. He knows nothing but that. And we've even seen, I think a big factor in that Tony Ferguson Gaethje fight was the fact that it was no fans and Gaethje was really focused, locked in on fighting almost a flawless fight. And I think that
his coach really well.
Yeah, I think that kind of like that pressure element being lifted plays a little bit more in the advantage of Gilbert, and he's able to really lock in. I don't necessarily know how much I would want to press Woodley early because we've seen fighters do that in the past, and that's when he's usually the most explosive. So one mistake or in the early round could be the last mistake you make for the night. But I definitely think in some regards you want to draw him out. You want to make Woodley fight early and maybe try to gas himself out and weather the storm. How crazy that sounds, because that's just a storm that's hard to weather. Like he could knock guys out through the block easily. Like he's one of the he's bodied up for one. Like he's intimidating to look at across.
He probably weighs like
the octagon.
5, but
that's
190, dude. He's probably a big dude.
Yeah, that's a big guy. But I think that Gilbert has to just fight his fight and not try to beat Tyron Woodley, but just lock in and fight his fight. He's not necessarily too fluid in terms of like footwork and different throws and combinations with his strikes, but he does have a tremendous accuracy with his strikes
Yeah.
and tremendous power with his strikes. So I would actually, if I'm gonna strike, try to make Woodley kind of force him to be on the attack, which sounds ridiculous because it
But
sounds ridiculous.
But you're smart. You're baiting a lion.
Yeah.
Like, you want this. Like,
Yeah. So you could tag him a couple times and then maybe Woodley does try to mess up and take it to the ground. Or even in the clinch. I don't know how good Gilbert is in the clinch standing.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that is a part of Woodley's game that is highly underrated to me. I think
Okay.
he's
Okay.
because I think he has tremendous strength, and I think I didn't know he had 0 takedowns because I swear I seen him slam a couple people.
No, that
From the clinch.
was in Strike Force right before he
Oh,
came.
okay,
That was his amazing slams. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I definitely think that that's an element of his game that's underrated. So I don't know how good Gilbert is from that position, but I do think that he would be able to set up different submissions, even from standing or just getting able to get him to the ground or being the only person that maybe even to take his back. But
yeah, I mean there's people that are saying that, okay, like there's some discussion saying, well, Gilbert Burns has the tape on it because Gilbert Burns fights out the same gym as Usman does. They both fight out of the same gym. So it's like, well, Usman would know how to better than anyone. But my counterpoint is Gilbert Burns and Usman are totally different fighters.
Yeah,
You can't implement that game. Usman's a wear you down and like Usman isn't gonna try to flash knock out you. He wants to just beat you endless and endless. He wants you to give up. Like he wants you to say I quit. Like that's what he wants because he has the endless cardio, all day cardio, just nonstop action, punch, kick, punch, takedown, punch in the ground, mush your face.
That's a strong guy.
Just,
I don't know if Gilbert has the full body strength that
no, he doesn't.
I don't know if anyone, I don't know if anyone that's fighting right now has that kind of complete strength.
I mean, the only other person that had that style was Colby Covington, and Usman destroyed him. So you saw, like, there's levels to this. Like, there's levels. Like, you can have the same thing, but he's on this level. Usman's a fantastic fighter. To be honest with you, I think I agree with you. So I think Burns needs to just play to his strengths, cause chaos. Because if I watch some of Burns' fights, he likes to make hell happen. He wants to get bloody. He wants to throw down. Yeah. So throw down with him, and if it works out, make the game towards you. Get some jiu-jitsu in there. Maybe like Brian Ortega. Maybe jump in there right on Woodley. Woodley's not super tall. Woodley's 5'8". They're both 5'8". So maybe Burns has enough athleticism. Just get some jiu-jitsu in there early in the stand-up game. Cause some havoc. Maybe grab like an arm in the middle of a situation. But I want Woodley to win this fight. Not because I necessarily want the next fight to be Usman for Woodley. That's fine. But I want Woodley to win this, and then I want Woodley versus Covington so bad. Like,
that's the one I want.
More ATT dudes.
That's the one I want.
And now they're both formed. Well, I mean, Woodley's never left ATT on bad terms. They have a great relationship. They just let him go wherever he wants. So he goes and trains and learns from other people like Henry, like other people around the world. Covington's literally got kicked out of AT&T this week, so he's not even part of AT&T no more. He's fighting out of his garage rental home, which is good for him. I want them to fight. That'd be a great fight, great lead up, because even though the Usman-Woodley fight wasn't good, Woodley was cooking him pre-fight, like with the clips and making fun of him, saying like he sounds like a wannabe J-Lo. I mean, I want to be LL Cool J. It was great. It was a great build-up. It was fun. So I want to see that fight happen. So that'll be happening tomorrow on ESPN. Next topic we're going to talk about, I really wanted to kind of talk about the fight. Not necessarily, we don't have to talk about the card that's happening next, because after this card is UFC 250. That'll be a pay-per-view card, and the headline, I think this card shaped out amazing. There's some amazing fights on there. So we'll talk a little bit about it. UFC 250 is going to be headlined Amanda Nunes versus Felicia Spencer. Amanda Nunes is going to be defending her featherweight title, which she got from knocking out probably the greatest female fighter of all time, Chris Cyborg. Amanda Nunes, of course, beats another legend. And now was the defending her title against fellow Canadian sensation Felicia Spencer, who's also like I think a middle school teacher in Canada. Amazing.
Oh wow.
That'd be dope to have a teacher like that.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I'm gonna be on this pay-per-view card. I'd still be trying to get a hookup. Like,
There was a high school teacher that was a legend in the game.
yes.
His name slips me.
No.
His name slips me.
Yeah, he's the one that looks like
He was a legend too.
He's the one that looks like Ace Ventura. I forgot his name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh my God, this is killing me. And I'm sorry.
Whoop the hell out of.
Yeah, I'm sorry for disrespecting, bro.
I know. We're
I know you're a legend. I just can't remember your name right now.
I just got to look at you, Anderson Silva's fights real quick. I didn't even say. I said the guy that looks like Ace Ventura. Like I'm worse than you for that. I didn't. Okay, Franklin. Franklin. It was Franklin.
Yeah.
It was his name is
Dog Watkins.
Rich Franklin. His name was
Rich Franklin. Dog, my bad. Rich Franklin. He was a killer too. Yeah.
He was a teacher though. He was a teacher.
Yeah. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the teachers that could.
Definitely UFC 70. We were like hella kids when that came out, which is dope.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Amanda Nunes versus Felicia Spencer happening. You know, Amanda Nunes has accomplished more than even some males have. You know, she's doing so much. She's knocked out people who were considered, you know, like the Conor McGregor of their sport, which is she knocked out why can't I think of her name right now? Why am I slipping on all the names right now?
Which one, Chris Cyborg or
she knocked out Chris Cyborg? She knocked
Ronda
out
Rousey.
Misha Tate. She
Tate
knocked out Misha Tate, who's amazing. Knocked out Ronda Rousey. Beat Valentina Shevchenko 2 times.
Holly Holm too, right?
Knocked out Holly Holm. Knocked out Chris Cyborg. Beat Jermaine Durand to me. Like these are just like the list. This list here, just since 2015, is sensational. Like sensational resume, and I think she's very big in the sport, but like she didn't cross over, and she's not like. I mean, even in the last fight, she wasn't she was part of a headline, so she wasn't like the main event. Like she was a co-main or whatever. She's been a part of successful cards, but for example, the 2018 she fought Raquel Pennington, only 80,000 pay-per-view buys, but the big cards, and even Shevchenko too was 100,000, one of the lowest. But of course she's on a card with Ronda Rousey, and when she fought Misha Tate, she was on the card there too. Those were million pay-per-view buys.
Right.
What do you think are some of the reasons why Amanda Nunes didn't become a star based on her accolades? Like, what do you think the reason is for that?
Based on just like outside of people who aren't following the sport. Because she's one of the best follows on Twitter too.
Yeah. She's definitely
like she's one of the best. But so I think it's a combination of things. Obviously, I don't know. I don't think being, I guess, just an openly lesbian fighter works in her favor, which is weird. I feel like it should, and I don't see why like that doesn't even get more cut. Like, I think the UFC does a horrible job of even displaying that, or like they don't even say anything about that or try to push that or whatever. So I think that part is definitely on Dana and UFC and how they market her. But I think in terms of she is like she's charismatic, but she's also just like to her people, you know, like to her circle of people. Like she's not she doesn't say. I haven't even seen her take like non-MMA interviews, you know, like if it wasn't about a fight, a coming fight or a post fight or something, I haven't seen her do any type of interview. She's either in the gym beating up grown ass men or
they're saying like she really knocks out dudes
chilling at home with her wife.
It's crazy because like I agree with you. Like she has a style which is a blast to watch. She knocks.
Oh, dog! She's the most entertaining fighter. Anyone who follows the sport she's big with whoever follows the sport.
She fought Jermaine Durandamy, who's larger than her, and was doing like what she learned at ATT, which is an excellent wrestling gym. She one of the best gyms in the world. She's throwing her around, lifting her up, slamming her down. It has all the styles you would ever want to watch. Like,
Dog,
she has it all.
forget that. This woman went out and storched Chris Cyborg, arguably the most intimidating fighter to ever step in the cage, who was who her peers would literally say, I am afraid to fight this person. She walked into that cage, looked her eye to eye, and punched her in the face.
Started swinging.
Yes.
Started swinging.
And to probably the most entertaining, had to be one of the most entertaining fights I've ever witnessed. And just, I always knew Amanda was a killer, and I didn't bet on that fight because I knew she was a killer.
Yeah.
But I'll be lying if I didn't think Cyborg was going.
Me too. I was like, if you're gonna put a fight down, there's two people like to swing and throw bows. I'm gonna go Cyborg. She's like, she's a beast. Like, she puts in work. Like, she hits you and it hurts. Like, there's videos of her like throwing, lifting up Tito Ortiz and slamming him down.
Yeah,
that's a big ass dude. That's a 205er. It's not a tiny male.
I don't know if he's a 205er these days, but
no, I'm sure now it's even more.
220, maybe even a 250er.
He's a MAGA dude, so he was doing it for the culture, which I respect. So, that was a crazy one. I actually was picking Cyborg. Cyborg started training out of South Africa at the time, and I was big on her winning that fight. And Amanda Nunes, who's a fellow Baiano, straight out of a small town out of Salvador called Pajuca, like, she does. Before I let you go. She does awesome things in Brazil. She does a charity soccer game every year in her local town. I really feel like they undermarketed her. UFC prides itself on being a promotion. They don't.
How big is she in Brazil?
She's big in Brazil. She's really big. But
do you think maybe that's more
she
just
could be bigger?
What she's oh no, she should be bigger internationally off top, but also it's harder for people who are not fans of the sport. Believe it or not, not believe it or not. I mean, it's
just get behind
in almost every sport to really follow the women's sport. Like, it's just it's hard for people who are not really into that specific niche sport to get them to understand it. And I'm a big proponent of all the women fighters, and this for a long time. I think they are honestly more entertaining than most of the men, just because
the women come to throw down.
The women piece people up, dog. They
don't sitting and grabbing ankles. They throw down
because it's more of a artistry, more of a it's like they're way it's definitely they're way more fluid more often than not. Even like not the top tier. Obviously, you get to the top tier of the men's divisions. Yeah, those people are ridiculous. But I'm saying, like, you can go to just newcomers, not necessarily the highest ranked fighters in the women division, and they're some of the most fluid and best at whatever it is they do, whether it be on the ground, whether it be striking. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how is this person not a title contender and they're piecing people up like this?
I mean, let's just look this real quick. The women's strawweight division is fucking stupid stacked. Like, look at these women here. They have Weili Zhang, who's a filthy.
Oh man,
at the top.
One of my favorites.
Ratch, who did the throw down from hell on Thug Rose, almost broke her neck.
Mm-hmm.
Thug Rose, number 3. Rose number 8 was a sensational.
Joanna, right? Joanna's 4, right?
Number 4.
Yes, man.
Flores, who I'm excited to see, but she's a legendary, decorated U.S. female Olympic wrestler who only never got to go Olympics because of serious neck injuries. And then her last fight, she had some neck problems too. She's out of like Rancho Cucamonga or something like that. Okay. She's trying to come back. She's like, they were saying she's like the Khabib of women's fighting, like, and she really is. Like, she's amazing fighter to watch.
Michelle Watterson too.
Nina's really good. Nina's Amanda Nunes' wife. Kaja Gadelia is a baller. Michelle Watterson. These women here can throw down. There's really good fighters in this whole division. Mackenzie Dern is in this division, dude. Like, There's so many good fighters. So
Oh, who was my girl that just got robbed on that other card too? I think she's in this division too, I believe.
Yes.
Oh,
You're talking about Angela Hill.
yeah, Angela.
Hill's really dope. Really
Dog,
dope.
she's one of
She can
the
go.
She
Calls
best
herself a female
strikers.
cowboy, Cerrone. She's so dope. She loves fighting. Now she's trying to fight Michelle Waterson. I'm so down for that fight, please. Yeah, there's just a lot of really good fighters and talented people in this division. And it's a test to, like, that's their primo division. It's a primo weight class for the women's division. There's a lot going on. So Amanda Nunes being the king of the other two, literally, especially women's featherweight.
Do they not have women's featherweight anymore, or what?
They have women's featherweight, but they only have 5 fighters on the roster.
So they don't.
UFC didn't. I mean, it's a testament to how the UFC never invested in Cyborg either. Didn't really buy the fighters. The only real fight left for Amanda Nunes after this is Megan Anderson, who I don't know why they put an American flag next to her name. Megan Anderson from Australia. This website is ghetto as hell. Megan Anderson, straight out of Australia, former Combat Arms in Australia too. She's a dope fighter, tall, strong. So it's just good fights to go. I just think Amanda Nunes was under promoted. I think when she won, there was a lot going on about, like, I think it was like 2015. I remember that was like a big moment for, like, just the gay community, lesbian community in general. I think there was a lot going on with some stuff passing about marriage and all that. So I thought it would have been an excellent opportunity for the UFC to capitalize and show that
it's an excellent opportunity still to this day.
One of the biggest sports in America. And look, we have a champion that is also like this, you know, and is lesbian and all this. And it just, I mean, it only shows me how whack the MMA fans are. Like, you know how they are.
Oh, well, you know how the American, the American fans. Yeah, you know the American fans are not gonna.
You know the comment section, what flag they fly. So it's kind of rough. I feel for her, but I hope, you know, I will always cast for her as one of the all-time greats. I mean, what she did is someone who they were flying saying that Ronda Rousey could knock out Floyd Mayweather. Well,
who said that? Hold up. Who said that?
They were saying that.
Can you pull that up? Because who would say some dumb shit like that? Floyd Mayweather, what?
There was dumb shit going on back then.
Okay, that's crazy. Yeah, that's wild, bro. But definitely,
Ronda Rousey refused to back down from her bitter feud on ESPN.com 2015. Ronda Rousey refused to back down on her bitter feud with Floyd Mayweather when she was asked about fighting him in a no-rules fight. She said she could beat anyone, including him.
Well, she's supposed to say that. I'm not mad at her saying that.
And then,
I mean, you're a fighter. What are you supposed to think? You can't.
Yeah, but like NBC starts posting it. Everybody started talking about could Ronda Rousey beat Floyd Mayweather? I'm like, just like, can we not do this? Can we just not? So that was 2015. Good times.
Let me say this to all the MMA fans out there. Not one MMA fighter can get into a boxing ring and defeat Floyd Mayweather in a boxing match. Not one of them. So you kill all that shit right now.
One of my favorite shows, Morning Combat, does they're part of Showtime. They do this Morning Combat Classics and they watch old boxing fights.
Right.
They showed the Conor fight and then they showed Floyd versus Canelo Alvarez. And it was really good to watch it again to just see how much of a mastermind Floyd is. A wizard of movement, ring control, defensive masterpiece. You forget some of the big shots he lands too. Just it's crazy. There's all this hate on him, but when we look back, we're gonna look back at like those video clips and be like, wow, like this dude was just a league of his own, sensational. So nobody in UFC, you can box all you want at ATT, but this man was bred for this sport. Like his father, his uncle Roger Floyd Sr.
Oh, I'm sure that all the fighters know.
They know.
They know too.
They're not getting paid enough.
I wasn't mad at Conor at all. If I'm Conor, I'll do it too right now. Because Dana ain't Dana's damn sure not gonna pay you.
Yeah, nothing. And actually, it's a good segue right now. So, Dana White recently has been coming out. So basically, the fight that a lot of fans were really wanting to see was John Jones versus Francis Ngannou. It seems exciting.
Yeah,
it'll be fun. Ngannou's definitely gonna lose. It'll be fun to watch. So I think that I like Ngannou a lot too. So even if Ngannou beat John Jones, I'd be sad because I like John Jones. But Ngannou's dope, and I have no problem watching him go to the stars too. He's filthy, like, so it'd be fun to watch him. John Jones was live tweeting his negotiation with the UFC, only in John Jones fashion, saying that the fight wasn't going to happen because the UFC doesn't see his value. The UFC wasn't going to pay him, and the UFC wasn't just going to get on board. So Dana White decides to talk to the illustrious sellout Greg Okamoto, who works for ESPN, aka UFC, and he asked Dana White, "What's happening? Like, what's going on? What happened to John Jones?" Dana White says, "John Jones is asking for an absorbent amount of money that you wouldn't even imagine. We're not going to make that fight. He's not serious about being heavyweight. He's asking for too much, especially during these times." Inciting that they don't have a lot of money because there's no live gates. All very cute, saying that they want to do.
Didn't he just buy an island?
First of all,
Didn't just buy an island?
First of all, he's gonna get the clip right now. First of all, like, not only did he buy an island and he's building a whole fucking Bruce Lee movie on an island, we're all gonna watch people fight on an island, and he's gonna post pictures of it apparently.
Which I'm 100% down for. It sounds amazing.
Me too. I just don't want to see dudes in suits walking around with like champagne glasses. That'll make me uncomfortable. But if this is gonna throw down, and then I don't want to even see a wall. Just put it like straight on the sand. Like I just want like that Dennis Rodman versus Karl Malone one. Just the thunder on Venice Beach.
Nah, dog. What it has to look like is the World Fighting Championship on Dragon Ball Z, dude. Not even an octagon. Just put like a big squared platform and then just have them fight on it. Like
just have Dana White like in a beach chair and just have like a referee in the middle and some cameras and let's fucking throw down. I'm down, dude. Maybe have some locals like looking over the mountain like, oh shit, like what's happening? Just like on Dragon Ball Z when they're like watching from a distance. So that'll be dope. So you can buy an island. Yeah. Another report comes out that Dana White is attempting to purchase for $882 million Palms Casino. So you can pay 800 millies for Palms Casino, which is millions of people have bought that casino, but you can buy them. And you're talking about it. Oh, like, he also said, especially during these times, we're pumping up I could have saved money not doing UFC events and just waiting like everybody else. You're a liar. You signed a contract with the ESPN saying that if you put a certain amount of fights in a year, they get a $750 million bonus. So you don't save money by not fighting. You actually lose money if you don't put some fucking – that's why you put 3 in 1 week because you're trying to hit this number so you can get $750 million, so you're lying. The fighters only get 18% of revenue, and that's 40%. That's 36% less than the NBA does, and other major organizations, but they're top 5 in America. So he's lying about this money. John Jones then gets on Twitter and is like visibly upset. I mean, did he drop the dollar amount? John seems like this. I haven't been following this on Twitter. John Jones retweets the ESPN MMA post that Dana White is in and says, "It's interesting to sit here." First of all, the tweet before that's good. Poor Covington, banished from the people that know you best. That's the best thing ever. They used to be roommates in college, but it's interesting to sit here and just watch your boss lie to the camera like this. We've never discussed any increase in pay. Immediately, the conversation was that I already made enough, and I never even made a number offer. If you're going to change my contract for the heavyweight move, at least have the decency to be honest with the fans. I was over the situation, but I'm not going to sit back and allow Dana to lie to the fans. I never asked for an absurd amount of money. That's bullshit. Another tweet, absolute bullshit. And then he says, I'm not going to give up hope. The way I'm taking this whole thing is the UFC don't want to budge the John Jones heavyweight move right now. They should have just said that. Instead of lying to me and saying that I asked for too much money was unfair. That's unnecessary. But why are we surprised? We know how Dana White is. Dana White knows the fans always have his back. He says whatever he wants. And someone like John Jones, who has, of course, a controversial background with law-related stuff, is going to be discredited, which has nothing to do with a contract discussion. It has nothing to do with that. whatever his past is and nothing to do with this discussion. He said, "You already let me down a bit by shutting down this Francis mega fight. We were all let down. Everybody wants to see that fight.
Yeah.
Don't add salt to the wounds by telling fans something that's not true." And he said, "I'm not mad. I just wanted to let off some steam. I'm over the shit." So John Jones clearly seeing how he expressed himself. Then Dana White has another statement because Dana White just be at the crib and he just be feeling it. Dana White is just like, you know what, man, I got good Wi-Fi. Yeah, I got this
steroid IV.
I got the steroids in right now. He says, was it? He says, here. Dana White. Sorry, I just missed the tweet. Yeah, what do you think about what John Jones is saying, Chris?
He's not wrong, and I see it's weird for me. If I'm John, you have to go up to heavy because it's literally no competition in light heavy right now. Especially for him, a fighter his caliber.
Yeah.
And he deserves to get paid. He definitely deserves to get paid because I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's not the biggest draw in terms of views. He's not.
No, but he's definitely he's the top one in the UFC, one of the top guys. He's not bigger than Conor, but he's one of the top.
Of course. Oh, I didn't even know he was one of the top like that. But okay, well then, sure. But he brings in a whole element of fan that would not be there if he had never been a part of the sport. And and the UFC kind of owes it to him. Like, they owe it to him. He played an instrumental role in propelling the sport and making it a sport that was no longer just like a niche group of affliction Orange County people to a sport where it's capable of being on ESPN.
Yeah.
Like, if it was never for John Jones, I'm not sure if the UFC makes it to ESPN. I'm not sure if they make it to these big sports networks where they're getting their money now. So you got to pay him. And it's not his fault that there's not a light heavyweight outside of DC that you can put on the card and we think, oh, maybe this can be the guy that could get, like, you know, but DC, he's not fighting light heavyweight anymore. So you gotta be flexible. If he wants to move up to heavyweight, let him move up to heavyweight. Me personally, I don't think that is necessarily the best move for John's career, because I'm afraid of him getting caught at heavyweight and maybe possibly losing. But I think that is the allure, the business aspect of letting him do it. And pay the man. Like, Conor's not fighting anytime soon, dog. Like, you got money.
Conor got Anderson Silva was 43, so you know where his. Yeah, he wants to fight Anderson, and I'm like, Anderson's 44. You want to fight old men?
Dog, that's whack.
In the bar punching the old guy, he didn't get knocked out. We know what your intentions are right now.
Well, this is a whole nother topic, but Conor and Ferguson needs to happen. That's the fight that needs to happen at that division. But we can stay on topic.
No, Dana White went on First Take this morning and said, let me put it this way. John Jones wasn't asking for $5 million more. He was asking for an obscene amount of money. And if John Jones wants to speak publicly what the number is, that's up to him. Literally, here comes Dana White riding the fake train. Go ahead. Dana White's cap machine. People can believe this because we know the fan base. But like you said, it's true. Although John Jones has done a lot of things that are just, Lord, why are you doing? Why are you this way? But that's not what this is about. John Jones was the first one to bring Nike into the UFC. Mm-hmm. He brought Gatorade. Oh, I'm about to sneeze. Hold on.
Bless you, my brother. Sidebar though, shout out to John for talking about what's going on in Minnesota too.
Yeah, he went off.
He's the only fighter that I've seen.
You can tell he's bothered by it. I thought what he said was something educational. He said about what's happening in the situation. He said you can still talk because it wasn't a throat choke; it was a blood choke. A blood choke, you can still speak, but you stop when someone taps. You don't go for 6 minutes. He's like, that man died in torture. I was like, dude, that's like, I mean, this is a guy who literally does this.
Who knows he knows about choking people out. Yeah.
Like, you got to educate on what a blood choke is. Like, that's what it is right there. You instantly, after that, everything just shuts down because the blood stops going to your head.
Yeah. You lose the oxygen.
So, it's really cool for him to talk about the stuff, and it's good for people to kind of see how it is, because you get to see a sense of Dana White. Seeing Dana White saying someone's asking for too much money, but then you're buying Palms Casino, like, bro, like it has the wrong vibe, has the wrong feel, but some of the stuff it kind of leads me to want to talk about also next. I don't know if you've heard about this, but the Reebok deal is ending in December.
Thank God.
So
Thank God.
it was already whack that the UFC went the Reebok route and then had sponsors. I thought it was. I don't care if the fighters had Condom Depot or Pornhub on their shorts. I really didn't care.
That's what's up.
I thought that they could have implemented design.
I didn't even know about Condom Depot, so you feel me? They taught me something.
We're gonna be Googling. So. But the fighters were able to make a lot more money on their end. But this Reebok deal was piss poor and ugly. It was ugly. Yeah. It was ugly ass clothes, and they didn't make money off of it.
This ain't 1991 NBA. No one's rocking Reebok. Like,
the NBA does a really cool thing with implementing the tiny logos, whatever. The PFL has actually what they do in the Professional Fighter League on ESPN. Also, they do shorts with a template. And there's 3 areas that you can implement whatever ad you want. That's good too. Like, because the fighters get their own ad revenue, and you still keep this template of like having the same shorts, which it's fine with me. It's whatever if they want to do that. That's cool. So now the discussion is, what do you want to see implemented at UFC? Because UFC said they're not going to be doing Reebok re-signing. They're going to be moving.
Thank God.
So who do you want to see? Who do you think is going to be good for the image? Because I think it helped for the image for being a new sponsor. Who do you want to see them work with?
Oh, so it has to be a image. Oh man,
not just now they have to sign a deal with some organization.
With someone. Okay, that's what I'm saying. For me, I would like to. Obviously, you got the Nikes and Adidas, but I don't want to go that route, dog. I'm gonna just hear me out. You feel me? Hear me out.
I'm scared.
It's a low scale but high quality clothing company. It's only rooted for fighting. I would like to see maybe like almost like a merger type thing of maybe a Everlast and Root the Fight can do something together.
The Roots of Fight shirts are really clean.
Root the Fight would be kind of hard, dog. And then instead of putting like iconic fighters of the past, every fighter gets their own little thing that they can do in it. But I do like I used to be a big proponent of like the shorts with all the sponsors. Like they used to come out with some saucy joints.
And some of those fighters had really cool things they came up with. Like Venom had really cool shorts. The Venom shorts dope. Some of the stuff was cool. I like it too. It to me, it's like it's cooler when they had their own, because you get like a scale of it. Like when John Jones got rid of all the sponsors and all he had was the gold Nike symbol and the Gatorade logo. I'm like, okay, like now you're looking at a star. Like, and the other guy is not a star, but he has a bunch of sponsors because he's trying to make means. So you see, like people are working to like get their own deals going.
Because Dana's not paying these fighters hardly enough. I don't know how it works, but I know a little bit about the fight game, and I know usually your purse or whatever you get from the fight doesn't necessarily go to you. It goes for the whole thing for the fight. It goes for your trainers. It's for the camp. It's for all of them. So even the number that you see, this person made this much for this fight.
Oh, Conor made $70 million.
Yeah, you gotta divvy it up, slice up the pie, however many people, and people forget. Like people don't realize how much goes into a camp.
Taxes,
it's not even just the trainers.
Yeah.
It's sparring partners. It's the nutritionists. It's all these people. Maybe even like the facility. If you stayed at like a facility that you have to train at, if they have fees for you, like all of that goes into play. And then you expect them to pay it with like what? Isn't like the average like $8,000 for like
the fight? The last card, Greg Hardy made $180K, and then the guy he fought made $12K.
Damn. But Greg Hardy is a beast in the octagon.
He barely beat a dude that made $12K. So
I'm just saying, intimidation.
It's so bad in this sport. Someone made 12 G's.
That's
like
horrible, dog.
Come on, dude.
Horrible.
He probably went home with maybe 6,000, maybe.
Right.
So it's really bad. I personally, I don't hate that idea. Everlast is good. They've been in the sport. They know about the material. If I'm gonna go with a big one, I think that I mean, obviously, I think the best designs, in my opinion, I really like the Nike stuff they do. I like Nikes,
Yeah, but that's easy. That's
but
the
I don't
easy
want that.
way
I don't
out.
want Nike.
Yeah, that's the easy way out,
I
man.
personally think it'd be cool to have Under Armour. I think Under Armour makes really cool.
Under Armour's not bad. They make good fight gear.
They make really good compression stuff too, so I think it'd be cool. Some of the styles. I think they do a better job with some of the female clothes for the compression wear they wear. I think it helped with the fighters with the shorts they use, and their style is like it's minimal, but edgy. And they had the cool stuff. I thought some of the coolest things that no one really mentioned. I like the stuff they did with Cam Newton with the Superman logo, and partner with DC.
Anthony Joshua,
Anthony Joshua has some cool stuff. I think he had the Black Panther stuff with Under Armour, right? And like, there's all kind of they do mashups with Marvel and DC. Like, that's a company that has like a good rapport with other big companies for collaborations, and that's what we want to see. We want to see collaborations because I feel like a company like that has a good design team, and they'll work with the fighter to bring out what he likes. Like, for example, that one dude, the Bryce Mitchell, he's just begging for just camel shorts, and they don't give it to him. And they said they gave him some. He said they gave him some, and it was so ugly, send it back. Like, that's like, you need like a good team, and people like Adidas, Nike, Under Armour have good design teams. So I think that'd be a good part. I think Under Armour would be dope. So I hope Under Armour would be when they link up. But that'd be nice to see. And of course, I hope because they asked Dana White, like, oh, does that mean sponsors are going to be doing it? Dana White said that
he turned that
they
down.
already have sponsors, and that's the sponsors that they can use already, like Monster and shit like that. I'm like, okay, that's not what we meant. Like, I want, like, you know.
That's
like,
not for the fighter, though. That's for you, dog.
Even when you watch UFC Fight Pass and you watch some old fights, they even blur out some of the sponsors. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, calm down. It's just Common Depot. So, that was one. So I guess for our last discussion, I have a question for you. There's the big discussion this week is everybody seems to be bored, and I hate this topic because it's so corny to me. It's only a 20-some-year-old organization, but who would you consider, or what do you think about the discussion about the GOAT of MMA, like the greatest of all time, or who do you think it is? If you
Man, that one's hard. As you know, you feel me? I've watched UFC 1, dog, the very first one back in the day with the stolen cable. My dad got me on it. He was a big fan. They used to fight no weight class.
No. Gangster
They used to, no weight class, no gloves. Damn near you could wear whatever. I don't even think they had to wear no shirt or stuff. Like, they could wear clothes and shit.
You can come in with a kimono, or you can come in with some force throw down. That was hard.
And my boy Royce Gracie was out there making people tap out, dog. 300-pound man. Multiple times a day. You feel me? Blood on the little karate black belt suit or jiu-jitsu black belt suit. No disrespect. So I always keep that in mind when considering the GOAT. Granted, back then it was kind of like, all right, do you want to fight today? Like, you over there, you fight this dude. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay, you can go fight this karate dude.
Yeah, so it was hella archaic. And the sport has definitely progressed so much, but you can't mention the greatest all time. It's just like when you talk about the NBA, people say Bill Russell, and rightfully so. Like, but Bill Russell, like, if he steps on that court today, he's getting cooked, my guy. Like,
straight up. He's undersized and he's getting destroyed. But actually, he might actually do better now than like 2000s, we had like all them 7'5", 7'1" dudes. Now we're a little smaller. So.
But guess what? He's getting cooked. So I like to keep that in mind. So can I give you like three? Can I give you like three?
Yeah, you can give me however you want. Go ahead.
All right.
3?
So I definitely say Gracie got to be up there.
Your Mount Rushmore.
All right, so Gracie for sure. He has to be up there. GSP has to be up there because he was the closest to being a complete fighter.
An athlete,
like,
true athlete.
Yeah, in our era. Like, he was like the first guy to do that.
Absolutely.
Like, to be like, I'm gonna be.
He can do it.
I'm not gonna be the best at one discipline. I'm gonna be the best at everything.
He's not gonna be a specialist
that you can do. Yeah, I'm gonna just be the best at everything you can do in the octagon. So I definitely have them two up there. I would have to say Brock Lesnar
Oh
because
shit!
hear me out though. Brock Lesnar has to be up there, dog, because he was one of the people that put that spotlight on the sport. That's like,
Holy shit! I'm down, but like,
this is a whole thing.
so many
Dog,
people would hate that. I'm down though. I'm down.
people would hate it, but it will be like he made a whole new type of fan though. He
brought in he merged that world.
Yeah, he kind of took
I
it
definitely watched all of Lesnar's fights. He's definitely the most entertaining dude to fight ever. It's so fun to watch.
He's I'm really not that
crazy.
Impressed with what he does in
he's
the
so big
in
and he
the
hates
ring
getting
like
hit.
that.
It's the best thing to see.
Yeah. I'm not the best at what I'm not like the biggest fan of him in the ring. But
so
what he's
put him on Rushmore, I'm down.
But what he's done for the sport though. What he's done for the
I'm with you, dog. Let's do it.
And then I would have to obviously John is up there for me personally because I think he is actually the greatest person to step in the octagon. I don't think there's been anyone that could do what he does and to the level he does it. So like in terms of actual like in the octagon stuff, for me it's John. So I have to put him. Okay. And then my boy Connor has to be in there, dog. I don't care.
Oh my god, dude.
Connor has to be in there, dude. Connor has to be in there, man. He has to be in there because he elevated the sport to something much, much higher than what it would be without him.
Well, this Rushmore, I'm gonna throw tomatoes at it if I'm visiting. I'm throwing tomatoes at it.
Dog, it has to be
Connor, but you definitely have the most controversial Rushmore of all time, and I'm so down. Trust me, I'm down. For me, I think definitely number one. I think it's important to like the different weights and like the time period. Yeah. I think Royce Gracie for sure. I mean, anybody that watches UFC 1 or UFC 3 or something like that, one of those, he does amazing run. And at like the most barbaric times, he was showing that if you like let me show you mixed martial arts, like not just like YMCA karate or anything. Like, let me show you.
Not even mixed martial arts. Done. Let me show you how to make a person tap to give up in a fight.
It was the Gracies were the reason why we have this sport today going on. They started it all off, and I definitely would say him. John Jones for sure. John Jones is the thing about fighting at like the root of it. It's always like all these people are good, but if you put them all, who would win all the fights? I think the only person that you could actually put money on is John Jones. Like there's no weight class that he couldn't whoop ass in because he's 205 and he could beat up any heavyweight on a good day. And any little dude, you're gonna get creamed and dismantled. So it's like he's the GOAT for me regardless. He started off at a young age and destroyed 5 Hall of Famers in a row since his
when they were killers too.
Like you're just like he has Lyoto. They literally when Lyoto Machida knocked out Rashad Evans, I was mind blown. I was like, Rashad Evans is so dope, and Machida dismantled him. Then John Jones chokes Machida standing up and drops his body and walks off. When I saw that, I was like
that's always going to be in UFC highlight reel.
It's incredible. It's like
forever.
He's like a Grim Reaper. Like you don't even like. He just came in young as hell. He said he started fighting, watching YouTube videos of people doing kicks and elbows, and he was a community college wrestler out of New York who went to like Iowa or something. And like here we are.
But that's kind of cap though, too, dog.
No, he was a star in community college, but he went.
But even that's still cap.
He went to
your brother's a defensive end.
No, his family
one of the best ever. One of the best. You can wrestle, dog.
Is going to be one of the GOATs. Like he's incredible. Most sacks than anybody in the last 5 years. Like incredible. But he had the right genetics, the right mindset, the right build, and went to just the right camp. Went to Jackson Winklejohn, which had the legends there, GSP, everybody, BJ Penn. Like you went to the right place, the right time, the right body. So it worked out perfectly, and we're seeing like the perfection of like athleticism and professionalism in the ring. Like, and he's a genius. Like last fight, John Jones isn't what we saw him before, but now you can tell he's more like Floyd Mayweather. He's just so intelligent. He's making all the decisions in the ring. He dictates the tempo however he wants. He can do whatever he wants, and you don't see that.
Dog,
So,
he doesn't even breathe hard in the octagon
he's
anymore.
never tired.
Like it's I feel like he's more at home in the octagon than he is in Albuquerque.
Chris,
Like,
DC is one of the best light heavyweights of all time.
He's one of the best fighters of all time.
DC is Olympic bronze medalist. I mean, not Olympic medalist. He's an Olympic athlete. He has done it all. John Jones did two things. Not only did he take an Olympic wrestler, decorated, and Oregon State, legend or whatever, or Oklahoma State, threw him in the air, slammed him down. Then he said, "You always drop your head. I'm going to knock you out one day when you drop your head." 5 years later, they fight. He drops his head. He shin kicks him on the top of the head, knocks him out.
Knocks him clean.
Like that, people in DC still doing things, and like
DC
no matter
is
what, John Jones beat
arguably the best
twice.
heavyweight to ever
John
fight.
Jones beat him twice since then. Like, if that's the best to you, like anybody that says, "Oh, DC's the best," I'm like, then was John Jones just God? Like, because he beat him twice, and DC knows that. So, you know, like that shows you why he's there. I think for sure GSP is a legend in his own right. You know, he's a pioneer for Canadian MMA and just North America. He's one of the biggest pay-per-view draws of all time. Mm-hmm. He's humble, athletic, just a true, like, if the only thing John Jones could do better in terms of being bigger was if he was more like in the public eye how GSP is in terms.
I was about to say, like stop.
John Jones is
doing coke, like that's what I gotta stop doing.
So that's like John Jones actually would be bigger than GSP if he didn't like have morals. Like if he wasn't like his dad was a pastor. But
you know what, dog?
His dad is a pastor, so he's like talking about like, I'm gonna be better, I'm gonna talk to God and all that. If he was just like, look, I'm a bad motherfucker, I don't give a fuck about all y'all, I live my life, right. I just do coke and beat people up, I don't give a shit, he would be a megastar. But his morals is not in his core. So it's like, damn it, why are you a good person at the heart? So you can't be like that. And my last person from Mount Rushmore, I'm gonna say Anderson Silva, because Anderson Silva opened up that side of the world. You know, he although Gracie was about jiu-jitsu, he showed that Brazilians can do more. He was incredible. The fight we never got was GSP versus Anderson Silva. That would be the matchup of a lifetime. That would have been a world pay-per-view breaker.
He was one of the first black champions too.
One of the first black champions in the UFC, especially one of the first one of the first like Afro-Latino champions or Brazilian champions for sure. Right. He brought another sphere of the world to people in Brazil. I mean, in Brazil, people were tuning in 3 a.m. to watch him fight.
Most entertaining style of fighting, too.
He's the reason why he brought UFC for free in Brazil, so you can watch it on TV. All pay-per-views are free. He's just massive. And just
damn, I forgot the Spider, dog. He was one of my favorite. He was my favorite fighter in his prime.
People care about Steven Seagal for another 2 years. Like, it was perfect. Those clips are great, too. So, Anderson Silva's a legend. He's the only guy that he's so like he has like that Tyson soft-spoken approach, but when he's in there, you're going in with like, you know what? Anderson Silva went out the most gangster way. He got knocked out baiting the dude to sock him by putting his arms down like this, and like he went out the only way he wants to go out, which is like a G. He went out like a G, and he broke his leg kicking Weidman. Unfortunately,
don't even mention it. I saw that in real time, bro. That was nasty.
Weidman to me is like whack. I don't even think Weidman's that good, but you know, whatever. So, Anderson Silva, even though it was fun watching him fight Israel Adesanya, who's now one of my favorite fighters. That was fun to see. It was emotional for me. It was emotional for his. It was an emotional moment. He was a big fan of his. So that guy is a legend. You know, he's one of the greats of all time. Said he would never fight John Jones because they're best friends and that's his idol. Like, you love seeing stuff like that. So definitely one that goes. That's my Rushmore. Chris has Brock Lesnar. That's what's up. I have
just for what he done for the sport. I wasn't talking about inside.
I'm messing around. I have an honorable mention. Honorable mention, Demetrius Johnson. Everybody's forget about him. I forgot about him a little bit too. Demetrius is one of the most amazing fighters to watch.
UFC did him so grimy.
They did him so grimy. He did a flying armbar. I've like literally never seen that in my life.
Yeah.
He's at his size. You get to see athleticism you can never see. And he was up just amazing. You know, this dude is such a good fighter. He's doing his thing over there in Asia at one championship. I'm happy for him.
I was about to say, I'm sorry, dog. I haven't seen him fight since he
I
left
haven't
the
watched a lot
UFC.
of fights. I watched 2. He was the
And I
first
don't like Henry Cejudo. I'm glad he
first one
retired.
of the Xbox 360 sponsorship and Xbox sponsorship. The UFC took that away from him. So good. I'm happy. I hope he's happier. UFC did him dirty, so I hope he's happy. But he's always been honorable mention to me. Yeah. So that was kind of my go. Do you have an honorable mention? You want anything on honorable mention?
Dog, now, like, after you said all the below. I wasn't ready for this one. I wasn't ready for this one.
I get you.
I want to take Lesnar off of there now, dog. Like, Conor got to stay, though. Conor has to stay. Conor is definitely on the Mount Rushmore, dude, for me. I'm sorry, but he has to be on there.
Who?
But Conor.
Okay, Connor's staying for you. Okay.
Conor is staying. But Lesnar.
Khabib might as well be on there too. Khabib made him tap, but go ahead.
I would. The only thing that keeps me from.
I need to see 2 more fights from Khabib. I need 2 more.
Yeah, because he doesn't fight enough, and then he's not a personality outside of the octagon. But in terms of
fights, he'll have 30-0.
Yeah,
and
he's the most unstoppable fighter to ever.
He knocks out. If he beats Ferguson and Gaethje, I'll be like, "You're the one of the greatest of all time."
Yeah.
But
no.
Who's your honorable mention?
Shoot, my honorable mention. Well, to be honest, I gotta do a lot of moving around here. Okay, I'll take Lesnar off. Take Lesnar off, and I'm putting our girl on there, Amanda Nunes.
Oh, there we go.
Be on there, dog.
Shout out Bahia. Shout out Bahia.
She needs to be on there because she's still holding 2 belts.
Yes, she is.
She's still fighting apparently while she's holding 2 belts, which is right.
A kid on the way. Good for her. Congratulations.
Kid on the way. Congratulations. And I just think what she does in terms of entertaining to watch and the rate of success she has doing that, she has to be on there. And she's a pioneer of the women's sport, so she should be on the Mount Rushmore. And then my other one gotta be my boy Rampage Jackson, man. You feel me? Because just because he's cool. I don't know. That'd be my honorable mention.
Rampage Jackson is one of my favorite fighters to watch ever.
Yeah, he's just cool, man. Like, put him on there.
I guess they're really grilling. Before we go, we're gonna get going here, everybody. They've been grilling Dana White about what John Jones said. So Dana White says John Jones asked him how much Deontay Wilder was making, and Dana White said $30 million. So John Jones is like, I'm just as big as him. Like, I should get paid the same amount, like $30 million. So Dana White said $30 million. Now, Dana White's the cap machine.
He got $30 million. Dog.
Just disclosed, just like what they reported to the public. Wilder was paid for both Fury fights. He was paid $4 million and $5 million. Okay.
Uh-huh.
The UFC, the most they ever paid somebody was $3 million on books, like what we reported. Okay. Who knows what's doing shady? Was $3 million, and that was for Rousey and McGregor. So. He's talking about John Jones. That's for $30 million. I think he's a fucking liar. Like the most he ever paid somebody was $3 million. Why I gotta believe he's asking for $30 million? The last fight, Conor got like $3 million. That was like or $2 million or something like that, guaranteed. So like
for that cowboy fight, that wasn't even a fight for real.
It was like that's the disclosed purse. I know they a ton that we don't know about. I know about like they get the champions get a percentage of pay-per-views. So there's more to that, and I know Wilder got more because of the pay-per-views. One of the biggest pay-per-views of all time is the Fury fight too, like big fights.
I heard there's a 3 too, like that.
Yeah, there's a contract cost for the 3. I think they had to delay it though because of the coronavirus. Yeah, I want to see that 3, just because it's fun to watch. Boxing's a lot of fun right now. We can definitely talk about that next time. But yeah, appreciate you coming in today, Chris. Hopefully we'll do another one. We'll see what happens with
anytime, bro. Just hit me up.
Let's get this going, man. All right, y'all. We made it. So make sure you follow Chris at Off Top Hardy. And then if you have anything else you want to shout out, I don't know if you have any shout outs for you and people could check out work for you.
You feel me? Not too much. Just if you want to get served up, I'll come piece you up on the UFC. You could follow me on Xbox Live, Off Top Hardy. And then social media is Off Top Hardy on everything. I'm
always down for a UFC game if no one takes me down. If we just swing them down.
We can do that.
I'm still living life that I'm like, how good days of Fight Night Round 3 was, one of the best games of all time. That's why I missed, you know.
Yeah.
I might have to buy that at GameStop or something like that. Yeah, We Made It podcast. This is gonna be a We Made It podcast. Check out our YouTube We Made It podcast. We're gonna post this on there. Yeah, follow the homies at Audio Face. Sean, who Chris says barely knows anything about music, is doing an Audio Face show up there. We just did a political report episode talking about what's going on with some of the tragedies in America recently with the George Floyd situation. We talked about Sandra, and I think it's really cool. People check that out. It's a lot going on in this world that involves people with the same background that me and Chris have, and it's big in the world right now. So I think it's important people pay attention to that, and then grill Dana White afterwards. So please tune in. We Made It podcast. We're out of here. Peace.